Hi, Carole Greenberg. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Deborah Sonnenstrahl Blumenson. I am so grateful that Roz Rosen gave me this project. It's given me the opportunity to meet different deaf artists and here to learn about their dreams and backgrounds. Okay, enough about me and the program. I'm so glad and thrilled to introduce a good friend, or if I may say, my neighbor. We actually live 2 blocks away from each other, so she's my neighbor. I have the pleasure of introducing Carole Greenberg. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Fine, everything's wonderful.
Great. Are you ready for the first question?
Sure.
Tell me about your background. Where were you born? What school did you attend? I understand that you have severe hearing loss, right?
Yes.
I'm curious as to how you adapted in school as well.
Okay, so I was born in New York and I lived in Washington Heights until the end of middle school. Then my mother wanted to move me to like a better neighborhood. So we ended up moving to Queens.
What area? Oh, Queens.
Forest Hills specifically.
Forest Hills. I know that area.
So I attended Forest Hills High School.
Forest Hills High School. Gotcha.
And on the first day of school, I met my husband.
Really?
Really?
What a beautiful story. What? You mean to tell me that you've been with him ever since?
Yes. This year we will have been married for 51 years.
Wow, I truly do think you make the perfect couple. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I know your husband and he is wonderful. Okay, thank you.
So after graduating high school, I went to Brown College and studied accounting.
Accounting?
Yeah, not for me. No way. I did work for a law firm as an accountant, among other things, but it was just not for me in the end. I lived in New York for just another year and a half after I got married. We moved to California.
California.
I got a job working at a school there as an art teacher.
Wow, that's great.
I loved it. I loved it at the time. I had no idea what I was doing. They asked me, "Can you teach calligraphy?" I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, no problem."
Calligraphy.
I ran home and read books about calligraphy. I ended up learning it myself alongside everything else I know now.
Wow, so you'd call yourself a self-taught artist.
Yes, that's exactly what I am.
Wow, how marvelous.
So growing up, my parents and my sister were all profoundly deaf. But my parents weren't born deaf. And neither was I. My sister's the only one who was born deaf. I lost my hearing when I was 2 years old because I got sick with hepatitis in my ear.
Oh, wow, hepatitis of the ear.
So growing up, I've never heard out of my left ear. and only have about 40% of hearing in my right.
Wow, that's amazing.
My family sent me to the New York School for the Hard of Hearing.
Oh, yes, I know that school. It's very well known.
I learned how to lip read and speak a bit there.
Oh, yes, I bet.
Hey, I'm a pretty good lip reader. If my eyes were a bit better, I could be a spy. I mean, I did grow up with deaf people, so I've always been fascinated with watching conversations all around me.
That's such a big part of the deaf community. You played mahjong with us.
Oh, yeah, and you know what I call that? Silent mahjong. Whenever we play together, the only thing I can hear is the clicking of the pieces, and it was fun.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction, Carole. Okay.
Wait, I want to show you one more thing. My parents are actually in this book.
Whoa, that is truly incredible.
My parents were extremely involved in the Jewish community.
Oh, yes, I definitely remember them. I believe it was in Forest Hills. I don't think you lived here at the time. Growing up, when I would attend Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur services at our synagogue, I would always see your father there. I also remember he would have to recite a phrase or sentence in Hebrew. He would call out your mother to come up and do it. She was always willing to speak in Hebrew for us at services. I will never forget her. Speaking of temples and Jewish holidays, have you ever had your bat mitzvah?
Yes, in 2006.
What? That's much later.
I know, there were actually 11 women, myself included, who studied the Torah in order to get a bat mitzvah. I delivered my Devar Torah portion to over 600 people, and it was such a wonderful experience.
What an amazing experience.
Yes, it definitely was.
You are a woman of many ideas. Next question. Why did you decide to become an artist?
I love color, ideas, and figuring out how things work. I've always preferred to do things on my own, like doing my own thing. I never liked listening to people or following other people. So it's been an interesting experience learning on my own.
That's incredible. What's your favorite medium?
Well, I love oil, but I think mosaic fits me best.
Mosaic, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the best. I see it as like a jigsaw puzzle. But instead of having to put a particular piece next to another piece, you can do whatever you please. You can also use different kinds of materials. The freedom to express in mosaic is best to me. I actually hate using grout. Grouting is so hard.
All right, I think this may be a difficult question for you. How would you define yourself? Would you define yourself as a Jewish artist, a deaf artist, or an artist involved in the deaf experience? I guess what I'm asking is, how would you label yourself?
I'm an artist. I'm an artist who always looks for ways to improve myself. Ways to use different materials and utilize everyday items.
And making them something different.
I like to consider myself always evolving. Actually, yes, I am Jewish, but not a Jewish artist. I'll probably use Jewish elements in my work every now and then, but it won't be predominantly Jewish.
Oh, yes, I've seen your gallery, and I can completely agree with that sentiment.
Also, you can notice that every work I show is completely different from one another. People are always surprised and taken aback when they learn that my pieces were created by the same artist.
Your work is absolutely diverse. I agree. Ooh, I think you'll love this question. I actually think I'll know the answer to this one. Who is your biggest artistic influence or inspiration?
Well, who could that be? Frida Kahlo.
Oh, yes.
She was very weird. What's the sign?
Weird, yes.
Yeah, very weird. But she was immensely inspirational to me. I became obsessed with her. What's the sign for obsessive?
I actually have no idea, so go ahead and spell it.
Kind of like OCD. I love her work and everything about her.
Oh, obsessed. That's the
Yes,
sign.
thank you. Obsessed.
It just came back to me.
I had every possible thing that was associated with Frida: clothes, shoes, jewelry, you name it. Let me tell you a story. My name is Carole Faye, and my Hebrew name is Kaya Frida. Frida. Maybe there's something to my connection with her?
Wow, maybe Frida Kahlo is your soulmate.
Well, my husband is my soulmate, but Frida can be my sister mate.
That sounds better. Thank you so much for welcoming us and opening your house up to us. I know our viewers would be so fascinated by your house. It truly is like walking through an art gallery. Thank you again for your time and opening your home to us all.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for interviewing me.
Sending all my love.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.